let us do the thing. Yes, indeed. So, on my end of stuff, before we do the big bada boom, been nearly finishing up the downtime activities section, so it's close to being launchable. I've actually started putting some of it onto World Anvil, as the majority of the non-specialized tasks are done. The only one that's not finished is the build structures, like build your own house or castle or whatnot. That one's still definitely a work in progress. Um, I've also been working on a trap creation system we can use. Basically, the one I've been using, but in more detail. I've been combining it with the one that we had previously, a work in progress. So it's got some features from there, such as the mechanic system where you can spend essentially trait points to make the traps more intricate. So that is a thing as well that can be found under the bestiary. Should just say trap creation. And the other thing I've been working on, other than more bestiary work, making more monsters and whatnot and maps. Let's see here. I have a giant other window. I've been working on all these things. Downtime's definitely on the list. Been looking into the influence system as well. Been organizing my notes there and basically getting the document prepped and ready to, have a review probably for next week. Discussion on the influence system and prestige and whatnot. One of the things I have finished with the downtime is travel. So currently I have it set, and this is still just a as can't think of the word, as a suggestion or a first pass type of thing. But as it stands, I have travel set in a way where you can go, if you're in, let's say Baruja, you can go to Karstein or Razvin or Dancia or so on and so forth freely. You can just, go to all these different RP channels. Unless our text system can, go super crazy with that. But as it stands, that's how it functions. If you want to go from, say, Baruja to a different region, so like from Baruja to Eldiria, that'll take some downtime to actually transition from region to region. And you're not considered to be transitioned until all the downtime days are passed. So if you spend 3 downtime days and you're not quite there yet, you can still do stuff in Baruja without issue. It's just when the last downtime day is spent, and it builds up, so you don't have to spend 6 downtime days and then you're like, oh shit, they're lost because a week has passed. They just build up until you transfer.
When we're running missions, do we want players to be in the region RP wise as far as signing up for those missions in that region, or do we want them to just be able to sign up for just whatever region they feel like, regardless?
I think with the way that we're having the guild seals work, the device that basically says they're all part of the same guild, I wouldn't worry too much about different regions and being they're teleportation. They're meant to get you to your mission, so I wouldn't worry about that. I think they can be from wherever they want, just as long as it works, and will allow us to handle any wibbly wobblies in terms of say.
Okay, so we're not demanding a strict RP requirement or travel requirement that they
No.
be in the region then for to sign up for missions for that area then or something like that.
Correct.
I think the only thing is that they may or may not be locked into the region that the mission is in once they join it.
Mm-hmm. It would depend on the mission at hand.
RP locks. Okay.
Yeah.
Assumingly, they would be going to the guild to look for a job, which would be the mission.
Yeah, and there might be some missions that are
in world
region specific, where you'd have to go talk to a lord within a castle of Baruja, and that might be something that only those in the region can access. But that's going to be specific things that we as DMs can apply to a mission, such as.
But someone can easily be RPing in Eldaria if they want to, and be signing up for a mission in Doliter, for example.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the idea. I also have, as part of the travel system, a description on border fees. So There's another gold sink there, but it also can be waived, and players can just ignore the fee entirely by essentially smuggling themselves across the border. That does have a system in place that we'll be looking at in terms of the bot and the tech mechanics therein, where players will roll check to see if they can cross the border without being caught. If they're trying to smuggle, it also goes into if they're trying to smuggle illegal things across the border. So if they have a bunch of potions of like King's Venom or something like that, being a poison, it's probably pretty illegal in Elderia, so they would, it's not restricted. They would have to smuggle that in or just have it confiscated. And depending on certain functions, they might have issues therein. But that it goes into detail on what that means. I don't quite have a listing on here because I completely forgot for teleportation effects, but teleportation effects would basically just be snap. You're there. I would need to have like some form of like you spend an hour of your downtime to do the teleportation effect, just so it has some symbolization of you using the spell slot, or if you're using like the portal to Duldor, that would just work. It'd be like maybe an hour downtime as well, just but you wouldn't need any spell slots or whatnot. It's there, it works, but such things would basically cut the travel time into negligible. As it stands, I have measured the average distance from border to border for each region, and on average, it takes about 15 days as the bird flies to get from one region to another region, so that's what I've set the default downtime for travel to be, is 15 days. And that is for a standard 3 mile per hour adventurer, which is, if your base speed is 30 feet, then you would be doing 3 miles per hour. It increases based upon the overland travel speed of a character, or if you have a mount, or if you're, driving a vehicle, then it will take the mount or the vehicle's speed instead of your own for purposes of travel time. So there is reasons to buy a carriage or a ship or whatnot, as these can reduce the time it will take for you to travel. That's the big thing with travel I have currently. Just looking through this, I've also been looking into kind of further expanding the different benefits that each of the different berths and professions will provide for the various downtime activities. Researching lore is essentially done. So if players want to like research, facts or figures or anything like that, they're not like strictly related to a mission. Though they could technically research things that are related to mission, that ones should be available for players to look into and the like. Like most downtime activities, if you do not own the facility, it's going to cost you funding to actually access it. If you do own the facility, then hey, look, you own the facility.
I do have a pretty big topic for discussion today, which came up while I was working on the initial launch overview, and relates to this travel topic somewhat. Since we're starting with the 4 Hakuda regions, will we be restricting the rest of the continent, and if so, how will we be doing that? And beyond that, what about the other continents? Do we want to block them off somehow?
So for the other regions and the other continents, essentially, if you go over there and there's not a mission tied to it, because missions can still be set in like bordering regions, no issue there. They might even be set in further away regions for like high level play, or like pirate stuff. If you're doing like some mission for a port keep on the borders of Bruges, you might get a mission to go sailing out towards Shabos. There might be some missions there. Anything of that nature, it's fine to do, but it's not going to be like specialized focused for the overarching regions and whatnot. You're not really going to have as much dedication to these regions. So, for example, if your particular campaign is specialized in doing stuff in piratical stuff in Shabos, we don't have a whole lot prepped for Shabos. We don't have a lot of NPCs pre-made. We don't have all these different guilds and factions and whatnot pre-made. So that would be pretty heavily tied to the DM actually running it to get these things prepped. Approved and so on and so forth. So it's not outright banned, but it's also a lot of extra work that you'd be putting on yourself.
Every character in that region is actually just Captain Jack Sparrow, but every NPC you meet, he's just dressed differently.
Yes, of course. So, it's one of those things of it is not well supported.
So
Yeah.
basically won't directly affect the main storyline progression for the phase.
Pretty much.
I'll probably stick it under you can do it, but you need to get approval just to make sure you're handling the pseudo region sufficiently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in terms of like taking on missions from border regions, so like, Bruges has been having issues with wild magic crossing the border into the Expanse. That might be done easily. That can just something the guild still can handle because it's related to Bruges, and it's a border region, so it's easy enough to just pop over there and do some weird missions and then pop back. But for further away things, there might be issues.
Yeah, I believe we talked about this in the past as well, and it was just kind of a case of they're not fleshed out regions, so it's kind of like you go there, who knows what you'll get, and you're not staying there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean it's really up to the DM running the particular group if they really like the vibe of a region and they are dedicated enough to start work on that stuff. I mean, hey, we might unlock the region sooner than later.
I mean, if players want to like do the whole thing where it's like you go there to explore it to like unlock it, like as a exploration type thing, that could work too for them if they really like that region.
Yeah, it's true.
And it fits in world that you're going there to,
So generally it'll either be a border mission which is sourced from a primary active region, and anything deeper / dedicated to a non-active region needs to go through adventure, but hey, if you can actually dedicate yourself to it, then go for it.
Pretty much.
Very individual friendly, that's good.
It's honestly basically what we've got set up for the current regions where there's not a lot of people working on each region per se.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot to build up these regions.
It's true. It is true. All right. I've also been working on a pet system, making sure that's all fleshed out and ready for us to put on the World Anvil. I know a lot of people have issues with pet systems, but hopefully this new update should cover those issues. Yeah, it's a thing. I'm working on it. It's fine. We know for a fact that players will ask for pets, so. Other than that, though, a lot of what I've been working on is still work in progress.
Speaking of which, Barasia and Goliter are looking good. I might handle Eldaria soon if necessary, and Arlogas is fleshed out but need to assign someone interested.
Yes.
Anyone got back to tree or shrub at all?
No word from Shub yet. I haven't checked in on them in a bit. Probably should do so. But, they said they were going to go on hiatus for a while. So, as for unlocking the Alchemist class, even if you kill the Alchemist, you'll probably still unlock it.
He has a convenient skill manual on his corpse. I burned it.
He probably keeps notes somewhere, to be fair. So yeah.
I mean, one way or another.
Takes a lot of study to make those potions, man.
It does.
Like, he's got to have notes somewhere.
Alchemy in my world? Blasphemy.
Mm-hmm. That's what I had to go over. So, legacy, the power that you now have.
I guess I'm sorry. I was just going to ask Legacy. Seeing as you were commenting on like the readiness of various regions and whatnot, what is there still needed from Baruja? I think I've filled out most everything. I haven't posted the main story mostly because it's essentially a loose collection of plot points.
The factions for Bruges are set, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Unless they need to be buffed because I didn't give out super strong boons. I know we need, or I know you wanted to do that with some of the origins not being strong enough.
Yeah. I probably should be on my to-do list. I'm gonna put that in Firehouse. Buff origin boons. Okay. Mm-hmm.
Major stuff I'm looking at is unifying and standardizing factions, going through divinity and patron stuff. Speaking of which, I actually have questions on that since I spent a couple hours reading lore docs over the week, but that goes into heavy spoiler territory.
Carrying on. Mm-hmm.
You know what, we can just do it here and edit it out in post, lol.
It's true.
Fuck it, we'll do it live.
Hopefully soon I'll have the sanity stuff on World Anvil now that I'm starting to use it and understand it a bit better. By the
I
way,
saw
I
that
answered the
in your
questions.
game.
Yeah.
That was that was cool.
Yeah.
Someone squealed in excitement when they saw you use it.
What?
Would have been more exciting if the player that procced it would have let us pass.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. It's just a room full of blood.
Who needs that much blood, honestly?
Any vampire in Baruja?
Look, any vampire in Bruges has a blood room. It's just required.
I can't imagine it'd be very fresh, though.
You know, there's certain spells for this. Or I should say, any vampire who is a notable vampire.
Every vampire should have a bloodbath. Cool.
Wait, what do you mean notable vampire? There are no vampires in Baruja.
I like the idea that some just get really snobby over it too if they come across a vampire that doesn't have a bloodbath. Like, ha, what kind of plebeian are you? Are you a dhampir?
Exactly.
Didn't realize I was associating with the peasantry.
Yes. Uncouth.
Or they do have like a blood bath, but it's just a bucket in the bathroom.
See, I bathe. I got my blood bucket. It's not a blood
This
bath.
blood isn't even fresh or virginal.
Yes, Vampire Society. Let's see here. Oh, thing I did add. It was kind of a stealth ad. I completely forgot about this. I have finally put on the World Anvil the Shifter and Shiftling race. So those are now viable. I looked at my lore because you know how last week or last week or whatever it was, I was describing shifters as basically like partial lycanthropes. I looked at my lore and they're actually a bit closer to the Native American shape changing. I can't remember the actual term for it, but the shape changers.
Skinwalkers.
Skinwalkers, yes. So they're a lot similar to that for their lore. And then the shiftlings are, of course, a mixture of the shifters and the changelings.
Also, I've got the text ready, but this might be getting into heavy spoilers, so make sure to pause the recording.
All right. Spoiler warning.